You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 7th day of March, 2017. So glad you could join us. If you are returning, welcome back. And if you're here for the very first time, a special welcome to you. So glad to have you with us. We are now in our second decade of broadcast history. Pretty soon I'll be saying our third decade. Well, it's a little ways off, but I was just thinking, I wonder if I will ever say those words. You never know. If you'd have told me in 2005 on that April morning that I would be here talking with you on this Tuesday morning, 2017, I'd have said, nah, I don't think so. But here I am. By golly. Now, we have a webinar this afternoon, so that's important. And I want everybody that's on the trial to make sure you go to the webinar. In fact, we're going to go through things pretty quick today because I'd like everybody to have a chance to go to the webinar. Michael is going to put that link into the chat box for you so that you will have access to it. I think he's also probably emailed out an invitation to everyone who's on the trial. If you are on the trial and have not received the invitation, check the chat box and or send an email to support@cfrn.net. We'll go straight to Mike here. Let's just run through the numbers really quick. In the U.S., the cash markets are down. The Dow is down 30 points. NASDAQ is down 10. S&P 500 down 6. And the Russell 2000 down a little over 3 points. No movers, no shakers, just red. In the commodity basket, gold is off by $7.80. Not so good. Trading $12.1770. And crude oil is up 12 cents, trading $53.32. In the Asian markets, the Nikkei closed down 34 points. The Shanghai up 8.5 points. The Hang Seng up 84 points. No movers, no shakers. And last but not least, in the European markets, the FTSE is down 11, the DAX is up 7, and the CAC is down 17. A mover, a shaker, not a one. Not a one anywhere across the board, not in the US, not in Asia, not in Europe, and honestly, not even in the commodity basket. There was a big move in natural gas today, over 1.5%. That's something we typically talk about. And Michael, when he comes on right now, he'll talk to you about soybeans. We may start trading May soybeans, or I think it's April. It's ZSK. It's whatever we've been trading. It's this market right here. Yeah, we got a very nice sell-off last night on soybeans, and let's see what our real quick. I don't know if my computer has a real quick button anymore. I think it does. Yeah, there it is.
Slow down
Got
button.
a real quick button. Yeah, I rebooted the modem today before the show just to make sure we didn't. Well, hopefully we don't have a repeat of yesterday. So last night in soybeans, we were looking to sell 1034. And so, if you got short at 1034, you did well. The soybeans are just like the S&P 500 in that there's 4 ticks to a point, $12.50 per tick, $50 per point. And I said we were looking to sell 1034. And so from 1034, came back and tested that important price, important area a couple times, as the market will do. Then big drop. And now, Burr mentioned WASD this week. I thought WASD happened on the 12th of the month, but he probably knows far better than I do. So
it's scheduled way ahead of time. I don't have my glasses, I can't read this, but I think it looks like it's coming out. Yeah, it's coming out on the 9th, on Thursday. I think it's the second Thursday of the month. I'm pretty sure.
So from 34 down to 23, just the bottom of this red candle right here. That would give us an 11-point move at $50 per point. So that would be $550 per contract available. Okay. Now the payout is the same on beans as the S&P, but as Bert mentioned this morning in the training room, the margins, the intraday margins, are substantially higher. So just one thing to keep in mind. So with that, Michael, if you want to go ahead and grab the screens and take us through what happened in the live training room. I know you got to get ready for the webinar.
I will do just that. Things did loosen up a little bit during this last half hour, or last 45 minutes now, as I was looking for earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But it took it a little while. All right, so let's do this. Let's start out with our home page. Here we go. All right, everyone. Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, the 7th day of March, 2017. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage here at CFRN.net and scroll down to where it says free 5-day trial and click on that. Then scroll down to where it says start free trial and click on that. Then fill in this little form here. Once you fill in this little form, you'll be sent a link to get into the next session prior to the next session every business day for the rest of the month of... What am I talking about? Once you fill in this little form, I'm sorry, I say these things and I just mix them up all the time. Once you fill in this little form, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click on the confirmation link, you will not get a free trial because we don't know you took the free trial until you click that confirmation link. Forget that about the next session stuff. That's to get into this session, actually, is what I was talking about with that. All right, today in the room, we had a yellow day, and we had to go to 1135 to get it. We were -8 on euro, -8 on crude, +5 on gold, and +18 on the NQ. Okay, it took 12 opportunities to get there today, so our gross monthly profit is a whopping $382.50 over 5 days, averaging 76 a day. We're going to get that number up. Hopefully by the end of the week we should have some pretty good action. Real news events don't even come. Well, there's the WASD on Thursday, and then there's a bunch of stuff on Friday morning pre-market. So we should have some pretty good action Thursday and Friday. Anyway, on the year, over 43 days, 69.27.5. That's 161.10 a day. Okay. Now let's look at what we did or didn't do or barely did. Today, right here, it was too bad we couldn't take this one right here because we had dynamic. It was a momentum short from right back over here, but we had dynamic support right there that couldn't be broken. Oops, it wasn't right there. It was right here. But still, we had dynamic support that couldn't be broken. And then it just dropped 3 points or 30 ticks. That would have been the goal for the day right there in the first 3 minutes. Anyway, it turned around, started to move. We got a break even here. This is gold, by the way. We missed one there, we missed one there. Then we got into a pretty tight range here. And it went top, almost to bottom, back to top, all the way to bottom, almost to top. Then you can see it started to consolidate a little more, a little tighter in there. Moved up, and we didn't have an opportunity all the way up, and then it moved down. And right here at the end of the session is where we got our goal. Our goal is where we got positive for the day. And we got 5 ticks on that one. All right, after that, it was nothing after that. Okay. In the euro, we had just the one right here. In the pre-market, though, look at this in the pre-market on the euro. There was some really good opportunity in there in the pre-market on the euro. When the European markets opened up and down, lots of opportunity. But you know, when you have a great movement like that in the euro in the pre-market, ours is usually going to be really, really messed up. And it was. And it was. We had one stop out here, you know, pretty much to the tick, and then it went down and did what it should have done. Then it changed directions and went up here. I missed that one. I missed that one. And there was nothing else since then. Okay. And crude oil. we had this stop out again to the tick, and then it went down and did what it should have done. Then we had on crude, yeah, we just had a couple of break evens, and that was it. And then during the break, crude didn't do anything. Okay. On the NQ, now the NQ had some nice legs, but the ES was around a zone part of the day, so there were only certain directions that we could go in with this NQ. Started out right here. You know, it looks like there was one right here too, but I missed that. And then right here we picked up 2 ticks, changed directions. Now the ES was going down into a zone right here, so we weren't doing anything on the short side. All right. Then we had a bounce up here. We took 2 on that one. We missed this one. We ended up with a break even on this one. We missed this one right here. We ended up with a break even on that one. There was another one right here I didn't highlight, but we watched. And right here we picked up 6, putting us at +8. Right there we picked up 8, putting us at +16. Or no, sorry, that was 2, putting us at plus. You know what I think? I messed something up. I think this was 6. We must have gotten this one. I forgot to mark one somewhere. Break even. Hang on. Let me minimize this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we had 2, then 6 to put it at 8, then a break even, then 8 to put it at 16, and then 2 to put it at 18. That's how it worked. Then it really consolidated here between 11:30 and 12, and I had said if it breaks down below this level, you know, we're going to have a big move down. Well, we got the big move down, we just didn't have a trade set up for it. And that was that. Now, the ES, as I told you, it was going down into the zone in the beginning, then it went back up into the zone, then it went back down into the zone, then it finally got out of it. And this is where we had the big move up on the NQ right here. I thought the ES was really going to try for that zone up above, but it sputtered out, gave up right there. We had highlighted this one trade in there, which we did not do, but then it came back down and got right in the zone and then stuck there. Alright, so back to this. On the day, we only made $10 today. It says that somewhere. Right there. We were -8 on the euro, -8 on crude, +5 on gold, and +18 on the NQ. Took 12 opportunities today, and so far in the month, we're only up 382.50. It's a really slow start to the month, but you know what? By the end of the week, I bet we're going to be much better than that. Okay, on the year, 69.27.5. That's over 43 days, averaging 161 a day. If you are going to read this spreadsheet, you must look at all the disclosure statements down at the bottom. CFTC risk disclosure statements. Okay, and now, on CFRN.net is our home page. And to take our free trial, you just scroll down, hit the free 5-day trial thing, and hit the start the free trial, no credit card required, and fill in these 4 little spots here. Once you do that, you will be sent a confirmation link. You must click on that confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the link, you will not get a free trial. We need you to click that link to get the free trial. Okay? That's it, guys. Thank you. And that's it. With that, we can head back out. Oh, Dwayne, you have to pull it. But either way, we're heading back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you, sir.
Yes, we are.
See, it used to be fabulous Las Vegas bottom, but that was only because of the sign, not because it's actually fabulous.
Okay.
Phoenix is really fabulous.
So take a look at what's happened since the Sunday night Globex Open, guys. We had a really strong opening 30 minutes, this first candle here. took us down to last week's zone at 74.75, and we've gone from, now these are last week's zones. Today's Tuesday. This shows you the carryover effect. We've gone from zone to zone to zone to zone to zone. Didn't quite make it all the way down. Pulled back up. Now you can see that this first push down lines up pretty well with this. Okay, back up to the zone, back down to the zone, back up to the zone, and back down. Certainly seems like that should be this week's zones, but in fact they are last week's zones. Again, the carryover effect. So partners, when you get your new zones at 6:15 a.m. on Monday morning and you get them up on your charts, make sure you hang on to, whether it's on a little scratch paper, or you don't want to get too many lines on your chart because then that gets confusing, but really important to hang on to them, especially when you have some that are identical, like this 2368/69. That was a zone last week. Okay, so basically all we've been doing all week is bouncing off 68.69, and we've been attempting to get up to the next zone overhead, and we got within 3 ticks. I'll just go ahead and tell you, today's only Tuesday, but this week's zone's at 79. So we've had all those attempts to get to 79. So that just shows that the market just does not have a lot of strength in it right now. So whatever it's worth. Okay, again, I said we're going to move through this all pretty quickly today because I want to give you all the chance to go to the webinar with Mike. But I do need to tell you 10 things that you need to know. Number 1, Snap had its first down day in the market since going public on Thursday. We're 4 days in, and on the third day, they fumbled. Shares of the parent company of Snapchat fell 12% in trading on Monday to as low as $23.79. They were about 16% lower than their high after the initial public offering. Number 2, Wall Street analysts are warning people not to buy stock in Snap. It has 0 buy recommendations. What? I mean, it's almost as if we're talking about a different company 4 days after, 4 trading days after they go public. Well, 3 actually after they go public. And the thing was priced at 17, went off at 24, and hit 30 on its first day. Somebody sure liked it that day, but not one analyst has a buy recommendation. And I would like to give it one, but I don't see any reason to. Number 3, the Nintendo Switch in Nintendo's fastest selling console ever. That's easy for you to say. It's unclear exactly how many units have been sold, but we know that the Nintendo Wii sold 600,000 units during its first 8 days on the market. So Nintendo, you may remember them from back in the day. They're still around, and their new console, gaming console for your home or office, is called the Nintendo Switch. Google promoted a fake conspiracy theory that Obama was planning a secret communist coup to overthrow the United States government. The California search giant is being criticized because of how it promotes fake news. You know, this is the first I heard about this. Obama is planning a secret communist coup to overthrow the United States government. At least that's what Google says. The California search giant is being criticized because of how it promotes fake news and wild conspiracy theories on its smart home device and in its search results via the featured snippets feature, including the nutty claim that Obama is in bed with the communist Chinese. Below is a video filmed by the BBC's Rory Sullivan-Jones of Google Home spouting the nonsense answer. He asked the smart home device, you've seen the commercials, you know what they look like, why they chose to do it circular instead of square. I'm not sure, but everybody seems to be copying that footprint, so there's got to be a reason. He asked the smart home device, is Obama planning a coup? To which it replies that Obama may in fact be planning a communist coup d'etat at the end of his term in 2016. So, what's going on? It's Google's featured snippets feature that's the problem. And it's not the first time this kind of screw-up has happened. The feature takes info from around the web to provide the user with a definitive answer to a query without having to leave the search box. When you search who was the last king of England, and it tells you George VI, that's the feature at work. That's the aggravating thing about Siri, is it doesn't give you a definitive answer. You ask Siri something, and it comes back, well, this is what I found on the web regarding to, and she repeats back the question, or he, whichever voice you've chosen, and now you get to go search the web. You could have done that anyway. I found Google search, Google Assistant actually gives you answers. Siri just replicates. Siri searches Google and then says, okay, here's the results. Version of this feature is available in Google Assistant, the company's virtual assistant that comes built into Google Home and some phones, providing snappy answers to users' queries. But unfortunately, there's a whole lot of inaccurate information on the internet, and Google isn't always great at identifying it. Here's another example. Danny Sullivan, founding editor of Search Engine Land, asks his Google Home, are Republicans fascists? The answer, yes, Republicans equals Nazis. Now, if you have a Google Home device, or you can just bring up a Google browser and click the little microphone and ask and see what it says. They probably fixed that now since they've been outed. The answers are alarming, but the problem isn't new. Google's been repeatedly criticized over false answers being promoted via the feature before. In December 2016, The Guardian reported that it promoted an answer saying that every woman has some degree of prostitute in her. Every woman has some evil in her. These are typically manually fixed when brought to Google's attention, but the danger remains that undiscovered answers will continue to fool people looking for real information. Now, in the event of an emergency or something, this could get really dangerous. The fact that these kinds of answers are being included on Google Home has the potential to be especially damaging because they are divorced of context. In search results, these dodgy answers appear to be endorsed by Google but the user can at least click through to check out the website it came from. When narrated by Google Home, on the other hand, it is presented authoritatively with only a brief according to before it's quoted verbatim. Reached for comment, a Google spokesperson said in a statement that featured snippets in search provide an automatic and algorithmic match to a given search query, and the content comes from third-party sites. Unfortunately, there are instances when we feature a site with inappropriate or misleading content. When we are alerted to a featured snippet that violates our policies, we work quickly to remove them, which we have done in this instance. We apologize for any offense this may have caused. Finally, the most farcical example might be when you search for who is the King of the United States. The answer, Barack Obama. It's actually pulled from an article in Search Engine Land that criticizes Google for the inaccuracy of its featured answers. So, be careful out there. After all, it is the internet. Okay. 10 things. That was one long thing, but I think you should know because these little devices are becoming more and more popular, and they can be handy and helpful if you go with the one by Amazon or the one from Google. I don't know what happened to Apple. They got left in the dust on that whole thing. Airbnb's co-founder had his doorbell ripped off by a guest who was somewhat surprised when the 33-year-old entrepreneur turned up to inspect the damage. Nathan, the CEO, said he rents out a building on his property 300 nights of the year. Why is that an important thing you need to know? I don't know. I'm just sharing it with you. Number 6, a BBC investigation claims Facebook failed to remove dozens of sexualized images of children on its platform. When the news organization provided examples of the photos that had been reported but not taken down by its moderators, Facebook reported its journalists to the UK's National Crime Agency. Okay, I'll let you run that one down. Programmers in the Valley are pressuring their friends to quit working at Uber. The taxi giant's toxic culture is a hot topic at the moment. Coming in at number 8, Shazam's CEO said the company could be an acquisition target now that it's profitable. The company's music identification app has 1 billion downloads on iOS and Android so far. Now, Shazam is, I thought Shazam was the app inside of Siri that allowed you to hold your iPhone up to the radio or the TV. You can be watching a television program, a movie, and you just click Siri and go, "What song is this?" And then she says, "Let me listen," or "I'm listening," or some such thing. And usually within a few seconds, the voice does. Now this is where Siri works really well. But again, it's not Siri doing it. It's relying on a third-party app that has integrated with Siri. And I thought it was Shazam. It may be one of Shazam's competitors, but by golly, that thing works. We'll be watching a TV show and there'll be some song in the background. And I ask my wife, I go, "What is that song? That's really nice." She's like, "I don't know. I never heard it." I hold out my phone, and not only does it tell me, but it gives me a link if I really like it. I can click it, it'll take me to the iTunes store, and I can buy the song for 99 cents. Not bad. Number 9, Jay-Z's Rock Nation is launching a venture fund to invest in early stage startups. The startup platform will be called Arrive. And number 10, Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff said the roaring market has ended Salesforce's $5 billion buying binge. The acquisition window has really narrowed, and I don't just see any big acquisitions in the short term. Now that was from CEO Mark Benioff of Salesforce. I don't know if you're familiar with Salesforce and what they do. I am, to a degree. It's one of those outfits that kind of like LinkedIn, when it first came about. I thought, who's going to want to... I didn't get it. But I've told you before, when Facebook came out, I didn't get it. When Twitter came out, I didn't get it. Other people got it. Okay, John, are you there?
Yeah, I don't feel bad. A lot of people took a long time for people to figure out the value of search engines. And remember in the old days when the first ones ran up tremendously?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and really, I don't even know if Alta Vista is still around, or Dogpile. That was my go-to search engine in the very beginning of the internet, because it was what they called a meta search engine. You went to dogpile.com and you searched, and it searched 10 different other search engines. It wasn't a search engine in and of itself. What it did was it simultaneously searched 10 different search engines and then brought you back the results in the order of relevance that it was considered most important. I don't know if it's around or not anymore. Now everybody just uses Google. I mean,
yeah, it's amazing the way they got big so quick. Look, there's a bit of a development going on here that I need to comment on.
Okay.
I think the gold is potentially quite close to a turn here. It might take another day or so, but what's interesting is, first of all, the dust and the J dust did not follow through to the upside today. They're actually a little bit lower than yesterday, and they've been even lower than where they are right now. Secondly, the JNA, the Royal Gold and the GOLD are acting bad. They've got to turn before the gold bottoms. But the key feature, remember I mentioned yesterday, actually we had a sell signal up around the highs at 778 on the palladium, came down this morning and spiked down to 763, and it's made and it's already back to yesterday's highs, which is, we've got an extremely strong buy on palladium the first time when I mentioned on the radio a day or two ago, and the same thing again today, and that kind of tells me we're fairly close to a turn on these metals. And are you able to pull up the chart on your thing? Can you pull up the nuggets or the JNUG or both?
Yeah, I sure can.
Yeah, because I'll show you what I'm kind of getting at. I mean, it's just a bit of a long shot at the moment, but it's something worth thinking about, because if it actually happens, it could turn very quickly, and in a few days' time, or maybe next week, the inflation numbers are going to come out, and if they come in above expectations, that could actually turn the market very quickly. And we did actually get a kind of an attempt at a reversal this morning already in the metals, but it got pounded down. And look, the whole point is the commercials are short. They've been caught short again, and I think they're short is an all-time record.
JNUG, is that it?
Yeah. If the there we go. Yeah, if the Okay, can you go back to the beginning of the year, to January?
Yeah, we can go back. You know, go back 6 months, 3 months.
No, just really to the to the beginning of the year. Really, just to sort of make the point. Oh,
Let's see. Okay. Yeah.
okay. You know, it's coming down towards this low that was put in early in January. But and we've had a nice move up now. You know, big question is, are we going to make a lower low, or are we going to bottom in somewhere around here in the 4 or 5, 3 to 5 zone, and potentially turn. I think we could spike down, and then we could turn upwards quite dramatically. And if you look at can you put the nugget up, NUGT?
NUGT?
Yeah.
You bet. Okay.
Yeah, you see, just hold that
Unchanged.
chart there for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna try to take it back to the first of the year like the other one. Is that where you want to go?
Yeah, either that one or the one you have, that mountain chart that you just had on.
Oh, you like that one? Okay.
Yeah, it's good enough to explain the idea.
Okay.
Okay, see how we bottomed out again in early January, and we've had this run up. Now, it looks, the nugget looks better than the J-nug in a way, but I would call, and what's interesting is, the gold hasn't gone down that much. The stocks have had a much worse of a correction. But if we were to hold here and turn and go back up, I would call this what I call a 1 3/4 bottom, where the 1 is where we came from in January, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've come back about 3/4 or 2/3, something like that. So if we were to, we're only at 8. We're around about 8 on the nugget, right?
Right. 796.
So,
I'm showing it 795.
Yeah. So if we turned upwards from here, having bottomed at about 5.5, that would be a really great place to bottom and to go back up. I think if we were to go up from here, it would be, we could have a near vertical up move. Now, what would make that happen? Listen, I got a feeling that there's some, you know how Trump sort of said he's not going to tell anybody before he does anything.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like Obama. Don't be surprised if something comes. He said, he put out a thing this morning, that Korea can expect dire consequences. And I think that he could really stoke the fire here in the next few days. Something could happen that could cause gold to skyrocket, and it could probably shake up the market too. And secondly, if the inflation numbers come in ahead of expectations, and maybe even the job numbers, there comes a time when better than expected job numbers could actually be bullish for gold, because there may be some data in the job numbers that portend higher prices in the metal. So I'd be ready for that. You don't have to be buying it just right here today. But given if you can put the palladium up just to show the difference in the palladium and what's going on there, it's remarkable in its strength. And I'd say the palladium looks like it's going to go to new highs pretty soon.
Yeah, I will pull up the palladium. Now, what did we figure out the other day? We figured out...
PAH is a
let's see. PA Palladium, and you're in March or June?
Still in March, I think. Yeah, still in March right now.
Okay. So there we are on a daily chart.
Right. You see how we spiked down and went higher here. Actually, if you could put a 60-minute chart, would probably show the spike pretty well. Maybe. Oh, it's getting. You probably have to go to June. Palladium, PAM, I think.
Yeah, seems like that's what we were at the other day.
There you go. You see how, I mean, look at the base on that thing. Wow. The thing breaks out to the upside. I mean, look at the spike down. Do you see that? I mean, we had the first spike. This was the one we called a couple of days ago at 760, right? 755, 760. And look at the rally it had, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of pull back, and look, it's almost an ABC pullback, and now we're rallying vertically again, and we're on the point of breaking out big time here. So, and we're going to be breaking out to new decade highs, new substantial new highs. So, and the weirdest thing, part of it is platinum is getting beaten up pretty badly, which is, maybe I guess palladium is becoming more favored for these catalytic converters more and more, which explains why the price is probably going up so strongly in palladium. But that could change if palladium gets up another $100 or a couple of $100. It might price itself out of the market, and the platinum may become favored again. The platinum, this weakness in platinum is a bad. It's been bad for the market. It's dragged the gold down a few times, and I really thought that we'd seen the lows on this thing at 1,000, but obviously not. And we potentially come down and test. I don't know whether we're going to test the lows again, but if the platinum was to turn somewhere down in this area, then it would be the equivalent of maybe a 1.5 type lift-off, which actually, relatively speaking, might be stronger than the gold in the sense that it's not pulling back as much as the gold stock, that is the nugget and the J-nug. So,
Are there any other industrial uses for palladium other than catalytic converters?
Maybe a bit of jewelry and stuff, and I don't know. I think palladium is mainly catalytic converters.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot. Remember, platinum is 30 times as scarce as gold, and palladium is even more, is very scarce. There's really only a few places in the world where palladium exists.
What's the all-time high on palladium?
Oh, it went to either 12 or possibly even 1,800 one time.
Wasn't there a period in time where people were getting their catalytic converters stolen off their cars?
Yeah, no, that was probably when it happened. Yeah, it was like the copper. You remember when they were stealing a lot of copper?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Which was great. The palladium, 100, and it may have gone as high as 1,800. There was a real mania for palladium back in the. It's interesting because the palladium ran up before. It ran up before the big gold bull market started. So the fact that this palladium is running up as strongly as it is has to be considered to be a pretty good sign. And I think platinum, with platinum turning, the day the platinum turns up strongly, starts to catch up with gold, that will be very bullish as well. The market, I did say yesterday I thought the market was going to go back up. It did. They kind of put in good reversal yesterday, and it spiked higher again this morning, but it's kind of got knocked on the head.
Can you see?
So,
Can you see my? You can see my chart, right?
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, look at what happened after the Sunday night Globex Open. Now these are still last week's zones. I don't put out this week's zones for the general public until usually Thursday. But so running off last week, I mean, you've gone from zone to zone
kind of looks a bit heavy.
to zone
breaks,
to zone. It just the highest we've gotten is 78 and a quarter, and this week's zone. Last week we had this same zone last week, 68, 69, and this week the next zone overhead, not this one, but 79.80. So we've spent the entire week inside of one zone, which is just, I mean, even in the summertime, we usually don't see trading that sideways and that flat.
Yeah, I think in spite of the knockdown, I think that the APB tomorrow, it feels to me like we're going to see a very strong jobs number, possibly around the 300,000 plus mark. And if that's the case, the market could take off on that. It could sort of work its way higher going into Friday. If the jobs number is a disappointment, then the odds are not that great that it is. But it could be. You never know with these, especially February being a short month, could be distorted. Then it may weigh on the market a bit. So, but on the other hand, that may the jobs are weak. The Fed may not win it. They may not raise rates in March. So it could be a win-win. It's almost a win-win no matter what happens, I think, for March. And given the way the market's acting, if we were to break out to the upside, I think we're going to get another sustained up move.
Well, tomorrow we get the ADP non-farm employment change. That comes out at 8:15 tomorrow. And that's about it for high impact news tomorrow. And Friday, is it Friday we get the big number?
Yeah. So but you got to be a little bit careful because obviously these Korean guys are trying to rattle. They're trying to rattle everybody right now, and it's four or five missiles taken off simultaneously. It's a pretty slick move on their part, but I think there's gonna be some kind of retaliation for that, and it might just get out of it could get out of control. Because this guy's he's out of control. You heard what he's done with the Malaysians. He's stopped all the Malaysians in Korea from leaving the country.
No, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, I think Malaysia expelled the North Korean ambassador, and this guy retaliated. And I think they wouldn't allow the suspects, the North Korean suspects, to leave the country in Malaysia. So this guy, he just automatically banned. He just stopped all leaving North Korea. And there's probably quite a bunch of them in there in North Korea. So it's quite a diplomatic deal going on. So,
The U.S. has started deploying anti-missile system in South Korea after defiant North Korea's latest test. So the U.S. is preparing to take, some kind of action, whatever it may be.
Yeah, it just could, it could be something that could happen. It'd probably be a quick spike type move, but it could happen. So just something to be aware of. But normally, in the past, when we've had a tension with North Korea, it's usually been short-lived, and very often there's a very big rally afterwards. When it kind of doesn't amount to anything. Presumably, if it doesn't amount to anything, but you never know, it could. There's a couple of other things. I've got a good friend. I think I mentioned him 2 years ago. He's extremely connected in the tech world, and he's very, very bullish on AMD, in spite of the fact that it's gone up dramatically. He thinks that AMD is a screaming buy right here, because the chip is more powerful than Intel's best chip, and it's selling for half the price, less than half the price, and maybe even less than that. And I think it's sold out already. They can't even make them quick. They can't make them fast enough. They've got all kinds of pre-orders.
Now, is this an operating chip or a video chip you're talking about?
No, it's actually a chip. A CPU.
Okay, so like the i7, is it faster than the i7?
Yeah. I think it's faster than the i7, and I think it's faster than even the Xeon chips. I think it's the fastest chip in the world right now. It's a real monster. I think it's eight cores, and it's got 16 threads or something. It's really very powerful. It's a game changer. It's kind of a game changer.
I've got an i7 third generation in my main computer. I was looking at some of the new GeoForce video chips that have just come out. The one they just released, I think they called it the Founder model. I think $795, and that's just the chip sitting on your video card.
This one's down. This one's $495, I think. And it's a monster. I think it's called a Razor chip. It's a real monster. It's real. I think it's maybe 8 cores or 12. It's at least 8 core, I think. It's huge.
Razor, R-A-Z-O-R? No.
Razor. Just put AMD's new chip.
Yeah, there you go. AMD new chip. Moore's Law.
Right.
Has Moore's Law topped out, or is it still?
No, it's actually been extended to 2020. I think it's going to go all the way to 2020. Kind of caught up with itself. Say something about the
Ryzen 7 now on sale, plus 2 new Ryzen 5 chips. AMD could finally pull away from Intel with Ryzen. AMD's new Ryzen processors are coming in a matter of days now. Ryzen is the official brand name for the chips, which are based on the Zen core architecture. They're aimed at gamers and PC enthusiasts who want a high-performance CPU. And guys, whenever you go on Craigslist or you're looking to have a custom-built computer, trading computers and gaming computers, when you're talking to someone who builds custom machines, or you're looking at Craigslist to buy, a relatively new, you're not going to find trading computers on Craigslist, but if you live in a major metropolitan city, you'll find plenty of gaming computers. And some of them, they've still got all the boxes, they got all the receipts, and you're paying like $100 for their labor, because they're kids, fresh out of school, and they just love building these incredible computers with lights and water cooled. It's amazing what you can get if you know where to shop, and you need to be able to test it before you pay for it. But you can get stuff that if you were able to buy it off the shelf would cost you $3,000-$4,000. For $1,000 or $1,500, you can get it. And not only that, the guy who built it, you know where he lives, and if something ever happens with it, you can go and you can get it fixed. So don't be afraid to go that route. The new flagship 8-core Ryzen 7 is only $499, half the price of Intel's 8-core i7 6900. Half the price.
Pretty impressive, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a big move in grains today. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and you caught it again last night.
Yeah, that was a nice little drop. I don't know what happened off the open here, but the bottom fell out, and later.
Mexico pulled a sugar deal, which the sugar is plummeting today as well. They pulled a sugar deal overnight. Sugar's down $1, and more than $1. And I think the grains probably got spooked because of that, because of this corn deal that they're pulling. So, they're exercising a little bit of clout, against this inevitable renegotiation of the NAFTA agreement.
Yeah.
So, well, listen, that's about it for today, I think.
All right, John. Well, thanks so much. Glad you're feeling
thanks.
better, and we look forward to talking to you tomorrow.
Look forward to it, too. Thanks a lot.
All
Have
right.
a great afternoon.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love that echo. Hey there, Pete. Robert already left, but he took a look at palladium for us. Palladium is also widely used in catalytic reactions in industries such as in hydrogenation of unsaturated hydrocarbons, as well as in jewelry and in dental fillings and crowns. But the main use of palladium, along with rhodium and platinum, is in the three-way catalytic converters in a car exhaust system. All right. And I'm sure you've all seen the commercials for this new Cadillac that goes 200 miles an hour. What? I mean, I don't know what they're selling for. I assume they're not cheap. I haven't been anywhere lately where the speed limit would allow you to go 200 miles an hour. But I suppose there are these private tracks out and about where you can go and take your caddy for a spin. Okay, I said I was going to let you out of here so you can go to the webinar with Michael. And there was so little happening last night, we can recap that tomorrow. Last night on the S&P, we were looking to sell 23.65. There was no opportunity to do that. We got no movement. And we had wanted to buy 76, but we didn't even get that opportunity. Only got up to 75.50. And as we go across the board, it would just be more and more of the same. The NQ, we wanted to sell at 51. No chance for that. We wanted to buy 51, which we did have an opportunity. Is that right? 53. No. Want to sell 51. Let me get this thing right. We wanted to buy 63, which we did have an opportunity to do. For a minute. So from 51 up to 74. Well, that's not so bad. Except that's not 51. That's 63. 63 up to 74. That's 11 points at $20 a point. And in the markets that we have to work with, it's not bad. And on the flip side, we did see 51. Didn't we? Yeah. Barely. Oh, got us down to 44. Potential for 7 points there. Just quiet. Been difficult in the live training room. Been difficult on the overnight sessions. We looked at that. Gold, we had a $600 move to the downside. The first move dropped to, we'll call it 1225. No, we won't. 1222. Gold was sell 24. Yeah. And it dropped to a low of 22. So that's 200 there. And selling 1224. Okay, the swing low. 1215.80, so if we round that up to 16 to be conservative, it's $800 per contract available. Of course, we never get out at the swing high or the swing low. Why? Because we trail our stop. Okay. That covers that and that. Let's go to our good word for the day, and I'll get you on your way, and you can get into that webinar before it fills up. Today we talk about walking in the light. 1 John 1:7. If we walk in the light, the blood of Jesus purifies us from all sin. Twice in Scripture, God spoke into our darkness. In Genesis chapter 1, He said, "Let there be lights." Genesis 1:14. And in John chapter 3, Jesus declared, "Light has come into the world." John 3:19. To walk with God, you must reject the ways of darkness and walk in the light. Fungus grows best in the dark, but when you turn on the light, it withers and dies. This is more than a metaphor. It's a spiritual fact of life. Jesus said, "People love darkness instead of light because their deeds were evil." John 3:19. As Esther Nicholson says, secrets keep us sick. They keep us in shame and uncertainty. For those of you who are partners and who have read through the CFRN trading plan, you know that it's repeated again and again. You're only as sick as your secrets, right? In other words, that's a encouragement to always, whether we're in a workshop, mentoring session, whatever it might be, to be honest, just to really let us know where you're at and where your struggle is so that we can best help you. If we're dealing with a half-truth, then we can't give you the help, the true help that you really deserve. Secrecy is the ideal environment for sin to grow until ultimately you're taken captive by thoughts, deeds, and habits. And staying in darkness intensifies your cycle of secrecy and slavery to sin. If we claim to have fellowship with Him, yet walk in the darkness, we lie and do not live by the truth. 1 John 1:6. Once you step into the light, everything changes. It truly does. And if you've experienced it, you know exactly what I mean. Confess your secret sins to God. They're no secret to God. But as you purge, as you confess, and if necessary, to a trusted friend or counselor who can pray with you, then through God's strength reclaim your power to overcome sin and live the victorious life that He created you for. Once you've turned on the light, the fungus begins to wither. Its grip loosens and freedom dawns. Each time sin comes knocking at your door, bring it into the light immediately. When you do, cleansing and fellowship with God will be yours. The Bible says if we walk in the light, we have fellowship, and the blood of Jesus purifies us from all sin. All right. It is 1:15 and the webinar is starting right now. In the event you did not get the link to the webinar, send an email to support@cfrn.net. I will send you the link, and I will see you right back here same time tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercies and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.